as well as Casa, historic duo now mixed up with Muja being thrown to the roster for Flash Wolves. They're looking to try and even up the score for LMS, whereas SKT, their first time not going to MSI this.
Bit of bouncing around, bit of happiness here. The crowd excited to see this legendary battle continue.
Ooh.
Bang!
Whoa! Hanabi predicts the flash, but it's not going to be enough. No one else follows up from the side of Flash Wolves. Very cheeky, trying to catch out Bang in the bottom lane.
And a very critical summoner. It's a free summoner, a flash on the Varus, and Varus Braum is expected to get lane control against Predator Vladimir, who's very much about the later parts of the game. That's actually bigger than it appears for Flash Wolves.
Yeah, the main danger here is that Blank might have to go to the bot lane just to babysit his lane, and that's going to leave Mundo and Galio against very tough lane opponents.
I do like this from SKT. They're late invading Raptors because the known thing is that Aatrox can one-rotate Raptors with Smite and 3 Qs. So they're going to late invade it. They're not going to allow free experience to the mid lane Aatrox of Flash Wolves.
The Betty as well as Mugen experimenting with all the emotes that they've locked down for this match. Maple probably not going to be able to take these Raptors, but it will come down to a Smite battle if they look for the big Raptor itself. All the small's going to go in Blank's way, gets the Smite as well, does not hit level 2.
Actually, Faker comes in with a lot of experience, so he's going to feel really good about the level 1.
Yeah, not the worst thing for the LMS either. We do see the jungle path is still going to be headed towards the top lane for Mugen here, where he can potentially find the ganks in the solo lane.
Still looking to hit level 2 over, takes away the Wolf Camp. You'd expect after that's killed, he will tick over to level 2. Mugen slightly low, but this start on the blue side of his map. Takes blue, goes towards Gromp, now towards the first normal Scuttle Crab spawn.
But already, I'm happy to see SKT refreshed, understanding having a level 1 plan against Smite Aatrox, something no pro team has had to do yet, only those whispers from solo queue. This is not the SKT we saw 3 weeks ago that seemed so far behind the meta and not even sure of its own lineup. This is the SKT with actual cogent plans, and like I mentioned, while 3 coaches from Korea are going to be happy about avoiding the Flash Wolves, I think SKT say we got nothing to lose, and what would it mean for our season's confidence in the regular season of LCK Summer if we could actually pick up a win in this best of 1?
Especially after Flash Wolves were able to take down not only RNG, but also Kingzone during the regular group stage of Rift Rivals here. So SKT going to look for some redemption in this match alone, keeping track of those junglers. Scuttle Crab taken down by Mugen, now moving towards the top side of the map where Blank has actually invaded and took red buff for himself.
Yeah, but he is spotted out by the LMS squad somehow. The red pings do go down. I like the idea here, but there's going to be a fight very soon.
It's waiting inside Fog of War. Mugen jumps over. I don't think he saw him in that brush. He moved in at the last second, loses his passive.
No skills on him.
Blank's going to try and go in right now. Tries to get the fear tether. There's no dash forward for Mugen. Takes a lot of damage. Uses the smite, but Blank picks it up. Hanabi now joining as well. Mugen's going to flash forward. Gets the spell shield. Doesn't get stunned and Mugen falls. Hanabi doesn't get the final briefcase. Picks up double buff.
And the double buff's the big thing to take away from this. Spell shield used early by Blank. Wasn't there for the end of it. Flashes exchange between the top laners.
Yeah, good move on Mugen there, holding on to the stun from the Sejuani and really just forcing Blank not to flash in that team fight, securing the double buffs for Hanabi. That's going to open up more chances for the kill onto Mundo as well.
Both junglers will fall during that small skirmish, but Hanabi does pick up the kill for the side of LMS, getting double buffs. Side advantage, going to teleport straight back towards top side of map. Lane was in his favor as well, checking in with Maple's Aatrox now, going towards the Comet once again. He's still packing Smite. Vegas done well in this match so far, dodging out a couple of the abilities.
The important thing to note about the itemization for the Aatrox is that we do see the seal first just to get more damage onto the Raptors, and we did see Maple go for the Tiamat as well to keep up his clear speed and try to deny the enemy jungler from getting that early level 6.
The trade's going up against Faker, though, takes him below half health. Maple's still going to carry forward. That's through Aftershock as well, once that taunt landed from Faker.
We're going to need new language for these Aatrox trades. I think it's an exchange, because that was a Christmas present exchange. You're not feeling good about what you got as Faker.
And I have to note that Maple did not even use his passive, the Deathbringer stance. That's still a large chunk of percentage HP he didn't even need for that trade.
this game slows down, we can start speculating on pick ban rate for Aatrox next week in our domestic regions.
Hot fix Aatrox as well.
Oh, baby.
That's a perma ban on solo queue, as you were talking about last match, Papa Smithy.
They're going to have to hot nerf him after Rift Rival.
That's a
100%.
really hot champion right there. Double hot fix buff.
Reworked, double hot fix, now hot nerf potentially. Let's see if that hot nerf comes
No
through.
flash.
Playing chased down by Maple here. Spellshield doesn't cancel anything, but he does get his Raptor camp. Faker's going to make sure he can shoo out Maple as well as Mugen, stop them from pushing further into Blank's jungle.
We talk about fundamentals when we're talking about mid lane champions who can roam. Talia, Galio. The gold standard for someone like Faker in this matchup is the double control ward towards the bottom side so that the roam to bot lane can happen. Already identified that ganking with level 6s on specifically Bang, but to a lesser extent Wolf, is a big play here for SKT. Bang's flash is back up. That's at the sacrifice of equalized CS. This should actually be about a 10 CS lead, but laning without flash has forced Tavares to be a lot more conservative.
Yep, and we do talk about the Silk Road pretty often in the LPL, and that's the brush behind the red buff. This is where both teams are going to try to look to put their control wards to make sure they can control where Faker goes.
No control wards yet on the side of the flash walls. You'd expect Maple to pick a couple up when he goes back to base here. 2 already been picked up by Blank. Faker has one of his own, so SKT definitely trying to set up for something at level 6, which Faker has been able to achieve. Blank only ticking over to level 5 during his bottom side clear. Bang as well as Wolf ticking over to 5 as well. That power spike for SKT squad to try and start a fight is coming soon, but Flash Wolves won it now. Bang in trouble. Wolf flashing backwards to save Bang with the Unbreakable. Stand behind Brom.
That was just a great move there by Wolf, holding on his flash to the last second with his Unbreakable up, is able to stop the tides of blood coming out from the Vladimir.
And a freeze to wave as well as Bang comes back in with his teleport. Lose 2 melee minions, but otherwise the freeze pretty successful.
Allows Bang to just teleport back in as well, so nice and safe for SKT. Bilgewater Cutlass picked up by Varus on his recall there.
That trade still does go to Elmas, though. They did get the Summoner away from Bang, and it's going to be very difficult for Galio to actually come down in this lane.
Awkward thing about the timing, though, is that the Bilgewater is a great first item pickup, and
Betty forced to go into the Sanguine Pool there.
That was optimistic from Betty. They actually interrupt the back of the Alistair amusingly in the back end. It's at Bilgewater as a buy, which also feels really good. Bilgewater into the refillable is a lot of extra sustain for the laning phase. You've dropped the Rage Blade a long time ago. Blade the Ruin King, if it fits you, is such a good one-item power spike and cheaper, that against the mages do a lot of trade damage. Vladimir, as the game goes on, does a lot, is very comfortable.
Checking in on the level 6, however, I do feel like Flash Wolves has fell behind their own goals. We talked about them having to snowball the top side. That hasn't really happened outside of the kill that Hanabi got. And Camille in the late game really isn't that strong of a champion. She does need to snowball.
I actually wanted to poke you a little bit about the Camille. It's kind of a peculiar choice for me into the Mundo. We've seen Mundo counters. We know about the Aatrox. Could have sent Aatrox top lane. That was an option for the team. The Darius was banned. GP banned as well. I'm very surprised to see a champion who, if you think about how her kit works, doesn't necessarily match up well to Mundo, even in the 1v1 as the game goes on.
Frankly, I think all that Flash Wolves wanted was just extra engage. Without Gameplank and Ornn being taken away in the bans, they needed some way to force their own skirmishing fights. And Camille is the one champion where you go into a tower dive scenario, she's going to perform exceptionally well. You're always going to have terrain for those stuns.
And now you're going to have plenty. Camille, Sejuani, as well as Alistar known to be able to start these fights. Gives Betty as well as Maple some breathing room to find access to get damage down for the Flash Wolves team. Level 6 has been acquired by both sides and all champions on the map. Especially with this global composition available for Blank as well as Faker. They might start looking towards the bottom side of the map.
Quite a lucky scenario for Flash Wolves. They do get the Infernal Drake first, and they are in the strong point in the match where I don't think SKT can really contest in a 5v5, so they should be able to take this one away.
A lot of risks when you have no flash on your bot lane, as I agree, Clement. There's an outside chance, but with no vision control, and so far, back timing's not being ideal. Faker's in base, so that means no contest here, you'd have to think.
No on the way pings coming out from SKT, but too little, too late. Faker went back to base, and LMS secured themselves a free Elemental Dragon. Still 1-1 in kills. Slight goal lead for SKT, but they're looking for a fight. Betty gets knocked out. Blank throws out the Paranoia. Wolf trying to collapse, and there he goes. Nocturne gives him a bit of a nightmare. Gets knocked forward, but that's beneficial for Blank at the moment. Double teleport. Looking to try and collapse onto the 3 members of SKT, but both just being cancelled. SKT settle for the pick.
And Betty, unfortunately, going into the pool a little bit too late. Still gets hit by the chains of corruption and cannot get away from that stun.
And it's been comfort for Betty. He's been on a lot of Vladimir this season, so surprising that he's not there and not in position to be able to pull off that play. Nice, easy cleanup for Blank. Tried to actually headbutt him out of tether range. We got another tether to talk about.
Wolf getting jumped on by Muja, but he's okay. Throws up the Unbreakable, and SKT will disengage. We saw a nice statistic earlier, which is why we were asking LMS giving over to this Nocturne. Quite a questionable play because 82% win rate in the LCK right now.
It's been insane. In the last week on 8-12, we had one single week on that patch. One game Nocturne was available to be picked. One game was a victory to score for KT over Griffin, ending that young team's run. So it is a pick that is heavily prized in Korea.
And we do see the LPL following up on that meta trend as well. Not a lot of Nocturnes week 1, but week 2, it was all about the pick. The new lethality build, the lethal tempo build really gives Nocturne the power to contest the scuttles early on with his shielding. So we have seen him be a very strong early pick and also a very easy pick to snowball the lane.
And credit where credit's due. Shout out to your boy MLXG. Lethal tempo Nocturne before. It was cool. Now all over the rift. The headbutt to disengage the tether would have worked a couple of Nocturne changes ago, but the tether range now seems to exceed most displacement effects, and unless it's a Gragas ultimate, it feels like most of the time you're getting your man.
They're able to do so in the bottom lane. Now Paranoia is coming back up soon. We didn't see Faker follow through the back half of that fight the way that we'd expect Nocturne diving in. So that combo is still available. And SKT have another opportunity to attack a side of Flash Wolves map. For now though, Maple and Faker doing battle in the mid lane. Muja's going to collapse as well. We'll get the stun. Yellow locked down, but still at half health. Wolf going to join the fight. Faker forced to flash away. They want to try and turn onto Maple. Tagged by Winter's Bite. Blank is here, but so is Sword Art. Maple running quite quick with World Ender ultimate online.
Gotta say, you've seen enough Aatrox recently to kind of run away the moment he runs at you, even though he's 8 seconds into his World Ender. I'll give you the contest here. First dash over the wall.
Not going to get it. Another good smite from Blank, who's won most of these smite battles so far. But it's a good start for SKT. They're a team that doesn't do too well when they're behind. 20 minutes into the match, so if they can keep up this pressure, they could really take it to the Flash Wolves.
Big thing here, of course, is that they do get Faker's flash, and what Maple wants to do is make sure that Faker has no opportunities to roam. He wants to push this lane in, use the double smite with Mugen, and also take away the Nocturne as well. If this mid lane gets snowballed, it will become very easy for Flash Wolves to keep tabs on where LCK strikes next.
I think it'll be very difficult also for the side of SKT to kill Aatrox in a team fight. That's the problem. Keeping Varus safe out of lane, pretty difficult. Speaking of keeping someone safe, Faker's in a lot of
Faker
trouble.
being collapsible, but it's Aatrox! It gets over to a Blank, follows through! SKT get a kill in the counter game, catching Flash Wolves by surprise.
Visual bug, but keep going here.
Betty's in some trouble, able to protobat away, but everyone just jumps over the wall. Is this SKT or is it Moscow? 5, because Betty's dead as well. Blank gifted the kill.
And again, the global composition, holding out to level 6, able to bite Flash Wolves again. You want to play skirmish, we're always going to be there faster than your rotation.
And credit to Blank, he's so often in the right area of the map. Easier on Nocturne when you have a global, but at level 1, that range isn't global. Able to get around, able to make a lot work, gets the second kill as well, and suddenly Blank out of nowhere, he's doing his best MLHD impression with kill score. He's got 3 already.
There's 3,000 gold of a lead to SKT as well. 4 kills to 1, showing that they're not only able to set up their own plays like we saw in the bottom lane with Bang starting out with his ultimate early in the match, but also reacting when Blank got caught on the top side of the map very early into the game, as well as countering the gank onto Faker just then.
This is part of the pre-hot buff Aatrox. His World Ender is on a very long cooldown, 160 seconds to be exact. So if you fail one, you still have to wait almost 3 minutes to make the next play.
He's gone for a Black Cleaver as his first item of choice. He'll be farming up some of the Raptor camp as well. Still behind in CS against Faker, despite picking up these smites.
And the part where I'm a little bit surprised they're behind is around their strong lanes. They're behind in vision control. They haven't been able to push up any vision and know where Blank is at any point. They haven't been able to contest the control wards that SKT is putting down to allow the Galio to roam. We haven't seen that roam. It's level 11 and already level 2 points in the hero's entrance before it's first used. But for now, Flash Wolves are playing very back, and that really plays into the hand of a global comp.
I think a lot of it does come down to Wolf and Sword Art juggling for position in terms of the bot lane. You could see Wolf actually won out on multiple roams right there to set the vision, to secure that there was going to be no Flash Wolves wards in their own side of the jungle. They just couldn't keep track of Blank because of the bot lane advantages.
And I like your praise. Wolf has been a monster, being in the right place and also on point with his mechanics as well. He's been able to do 1 out of 2 on the LCK multiple times this season, but together hasn't been able to make things happen. Speaking of make things happen, this is the pack up and go bot lane that we alluded to for SKT.
SKT gonna try and play Mahjong on the bottom side of the map. Sword Art is the only member here for now. Pulverize doesn't connect. Actually get good damage onto the Salazar. Forces him to use a stopwatch underneath his own turret. Meanwhile, it's Faker that's being collapsed upon by the Flash Wolves, but they don't want to pick this fight just yet. SKT decide not to attack the bottom lane.
They really have a run of the map earlier than you would have expected, before an all-in happened. Usually with these global comps, it is if the cooldowns are used, that's when the enemy team can react, and when the cooldowns are up, that's when they're threatening. They've been able to make a lot happen without fully investing in anything, so their side lanes are in a great spot, and predictably their bot lane is so close to cresting the first turret of the game.
But here we do see the first items coming out for most of the LMS. The big point about the Vladimir versus most ADC matchups is you pack a lot more burst damage in those early dragon fights. So I'm kind of looking for Flash Wolves. I hope they set up a contest somewhere just to get a little bit of that edge.
Early Sorcerer Boots with the Predator, as well as the Protobell being picked up by Betty. SKT will be the one to pick up the Dragon here. But it is Flash Wolves looking to try and take Rifter from himself. SKT should be pretty happy with this trade because first structure falls to them.
Big little investment of gold onto the Varus. Things going swimmingly. The side of SKT and Flash Wolves at least seeing that right now, not fancying a fight, taking a free objective, knowing that eventually the Rift Herald usually represents an equalization in the turrets. We're just kind of waiting for some of the members here to actually fully commit from the Flash Wolves. We haven't seen Hanabi involved at all. He's certainly online much earlier than the Mundo. This is how the champion works. The first proactive move from Flash Wolves, it's looking like after the early game was a bit topsy-turvy, needs to be a decisive one.
Yeah, because you talked about the Mundo from Tal in the top lane. There is no sustained damage coming out from Flash Wolves' composition. You're not going to be able to deal with them. The best you can hope for is maybe the headbutt from the Sword Art and follow that with a pick.
And who's building healing reduction? I guess maybe it's going to be Maple getting an Executioner's calling, but they don't necessarily have natural itemization to that one either. Melanomicon is being delayed, if at all, coming through from the Vladimir. They're going for the max damage, and that does seem to mean that Tal going to have a happy time.
Seems like Sword Art's Ignite is the last thing left on Flash Wolves' line to deal with Dr. Mundo in a big fight, but a huge cooldown for an important summoner's spell. Now he's been able to pick up Trinity Force for himself to go with the Tiamat he has completed. So it's a good spike for Camille, but it was a questionable pick to begin with for the Flash Wolves. Now split pushing against Tal. Whereas they will send Betty and Sword Up to go up against Bang. As well as Wolf from the top lane. Bang, threatening here, throws out the corrupting ultimate, will lock down Betty, flashes away from Brom. Teleport teleports into this fight. Ultimate is thrown down, Ignite is ticking as well, and Nabi jumps into the fight. So does Stall, but they force Flash Wolves away once again.
Yep, and you can see that could have been a lot worse for Flash Wolves, but the mid lane was able to hold back Galio and Nocturne from joining that fight into the top lane. Unfortunately, I still think Betty is not onto his mechanics. Again, going into the pool a little bit too early.
I find it hard to criticize him this time because it was the close brush. He wasn't expecting the Varus, but 2 out of 2 times he hasn't been able to turn around an engagement like you might expect. And SKT run the map.
Who's hunting who, though? Because they find Blank moving out of Fog of War. Faker's going to try and join this fight. Sword Up being classed upon, ultimate popped. And I'll be trying to lock down Bang in the back lines, but Paranoia straight on top of him. He gets taken down, where's perfect timing from Bang. Keeps him alive. The crippled Aatrox forced to crawl away and flash over the wall. Thal will go where he pleases. Locks down Sword Art again, flashes forward, headbutts in one more time. Bang gets that kill, and Flash Wolves retreat towards their base once again.
This is the time the Flash Wolves choose to fight, but SKT are there first. They have the vision control. They're able to choose one target, and through the paranoia, they just take down Hanabi on one side of the fight before a speck of damage is done on their carries.
Flash Wolves looking for the 2-man skirmish, the easy pickoff, but it doesn't happen. SKT come in full force. The 5-man already anticipating the play.
The 4th seed from the LCK doing work against the Flash Wolves at the moment. 2 Sorry, 5,000 gold is the lead that's picked up by SKT so far. They throw Rift Herald into mid lane from the Flash Wolves. Faker tries to take out the eyes. That's reduced damage, so this torrent doesn't fall. But it's not looking good for the Flash Wolves right now. It looked like the hunt for SKT, but SKT may very well be the hunters in this situation.
It's just so weird to talk about SK Telecom because of their history and because of their present struggles. They are the 7th place team, but sometimes those intangibles come in. Wolf is having a season game for sure, and then in fights like this you see the weakness of Flash Wolves from behind. They can do nothing while they watch Hanabi be taken down.
Yeah, this composition for them does not do well into the strong 5v5 presented by SKT right here. And this comp, they really do need the early edges to go ahead. Mundo, like we talked about early, no sustained damage coming out from Flash Wolves, is having a field day.
With those leads, they've now parked Bang as well as Wolf in the mid lane. Blade of the Roan King was the first pickup coming out from Varus. Val is still split pushing against Hanabi, and Hanabi doesn't want anything to do with this Dr. Mundo.
I think the problem for Flash Wolf getting picks now is that they actually have no side lanes that can do the job for them. They aren't going to be able to split push and take away SKT as a 5-man in the future.
They had so many flexes that it seems like they almost second-guessed themselves too many times, and now they had this weird hodgepodge comps coming. We were liking what they were doing with a lot of their flex, but the eventual answer to Mundo really hasn't panned out. The early game went the way of SKT, and that's something that can happen, but they haven't had the ability to use any of the decisive engage that Camille can provide, and now almost 2 items cresting for the Mundo. You wonder if Hanabi has to go for some emergency plays because the side lane's not looking like a happy time.
Yeah, the only way I really see Flash Wolf coming out in the team fight is if they can all in and just burst Bang down, but that's going to be very difficult, and it's probably going to have to come after Blank engages.
It's going to be difficult for the Flash Wolves, but they have to find a way, because at the moment, LMS are down 1-0. Flash Wolves were the team that we expected to bring this series to at least a Game 4 and take it home in Game 5. Now really Mad as well as G-Rex going to be sitting back saying we have to pull off a huge carry for LMS if Flash Wolves lose this match.
They're going to have to do it against the 2 strongest LCK teams. Still KT and Afrika left on the roster for the LCK. So even if Flash Wolves somehow pull out a win right here, it's very probable that we're looking at a 3-1.
And we're going to focus on the Flash Wolves' potential to turn this around. Remember we saw SKT in their loss to IG. There are exploitable weaknesses, specifically around teleport plays from Tal. He can be late to team fights. But there is a huge decisive fight. Betty now level 11, still doesn't have a lot of items, so isn't bursting anyone. But an outnumbered fight is what they want. The problem is, do they have to blow Hero's Entrance and Paranoia before they can later actually get an outnumbered fight? Because the global comp papers over little weaknesses like SKT's problems with the rotation.
Well, they find Hanabi jumping over the Dragon Pit, and they bring Blank with him as well. Easy teleport coming in to try and get into this fight. Val is there first. Paranoia comes in from Blank, jumps in on top of Sejuani, delivers the hero entrance in a choke point, but only gets a single knockup, and Maple's been able to pop the wall ender to stay alive, separating this fight. Sawdust done a good job so far now. Hanabi jumps back in, and Faker's the first casualty. Hanabi managing to get away from the fight itself. Banks in some trouble, locked down, but flashes away from Crack Control, forces a stopwatch out of Muujin, so he will be able to turn this one around. A 2-for-1 trade.
And you were talking about potential bad teleports from Tal, but that was a great one. He went straight into Flash Wolves' backline, and actually Sword Art was out of position to headbutt the Mundo out, the most crucial part of the teamfight success needed for Flash Wolves.
Honestly, it felt like about 7 people were out of position. Everyone was flanking everyone, and we had to wait to understand really where things were. In the end, the gold lead, I think, babied SKT into looking like it was better than it actually was. They'll take the 2-for-1, but it should have been more decisive with where the game was and their mid-game comp.
Comes back to what Frostgirl was talking about on the desk. Flash Wolves trying to take these team fights and turn it into a small skirmish. I mean, Sword Art trying to separate the teams. We get to look at it again. Even Hanabi jumping in straight away.
And that's the thing, is it starts with so many different things happening. Blank's tether is broken as they go over the wall. Here comes the first TP as Tal runs in. As you see, Blank dive in, they do disengage off the ult, but Bang doesn't have any protection, and they get very little value out of the Varus.
Yeah, but I still think Tal's position is really what won them here. Without Mundo in the front line, they should not have been able to chase up that choke right there. And Bang, with some good footwork, even though starting in a bad place, able to dodge 2 crucial abilities from Sword Art and Muujin.
See a future fight where there's more damage on the backline and potential assassination of Bang. It goes different, but All about space occupying that timeout.
Very difficult now, though, with a Guardian Angel being picked up by Bang as well. So 2 GAs on the side of SKT, making those assassination potentials a little bit harder for the side of Flash Wolves.
You have to love that itemization from Bang, recognizing Flash Wolves' only win condition in terms of the team fight, and knowing that Flash Wolves don't have any side lane pressure to force a pick. So, just great stuff by Bang. The reason they've been able to win 3 championships with him is really, 2 champions, sorry, has really been a lot about the experience from the players themselves.
Question is, what do you do with the Camille? Who are you ulting now that the GA is there? Perhaps just popping GA is already your assignment, but working out Hanabi's role has already been something that we've head-scratched about earlier.
From the very beginning.
Yep. We've been skeptical, and the itemization, a nice lead for SKT, is making it trickier. The gold lead's not growing. It was around 4,000 to 5,000 much earlier, and it's sticking around that area. Aker walking up. Baron control, the next sort of objective here for SKT is they have very strong turn off the Baron to try to close the game.
It's just been small objectives being taken by SKT whenever they win these skirmishes or team fights. A couple of outer turrets taken down, mid lane outer still stands, and a dragon going SKT's way before back after that fight. Now we're going to have to see if they do set up potentially for that Baron play. 26 minutes into the match, it's available for them to try and contest their control, which they've done successfully so far, getting the vision around that pit, but not moving into the red side of Flash Wolves jungle just yet.
They could very well set up a pick right here. If you look at the side lane, Style is doing great. Hanabi has actually been itemizing for that backline dive, has no executioner calling, knows his job that he has to go for all the damage possible onto Bang.
Reset for a moment. We appreciate that the mid lane turret hasn't gone down yet for Flash Wolves. One of the big bottlenecks for trying to get the sort of Baron control you want to be able to close this game. SKT know the Baron is so crucial, only a single range champion on their lineup, and Bang will be certainly turned upon the moment he goes for an auto attack onto something like an inner or inhibitor turret. So waiting for the control wards, the refresh, and then the bait. That is the next playbook for SKT.
Taking their time with this, though. All has been able to pick up his Warmog's armor and has enough hit points to actually activate its passive, so difficult to deal with during this split push. Will be difficult to deal with during the team fight as well. Blank still looking to clear out wards, potentially set up for a pick himself.
Ooh. Bit of danger.
Able to lock him down. He has got an Angel available, but flashes away from the rest of the crowd control. Maple still deep inside of SKT's jungle. They do successfully burn the Summoner spell away from Blank.
Get a bit of free damage onto him as well. There's no fallback objective for a minute, as Infernal hasn't spawned. That's the first good little movement there for Flash. First time they got something for free rather than making a trade that SKT would opt into.
SKT actually have a very fast Baron time right here with the Blade of the Ruin King coming out with Bang. And we've seen this play being made in the LPL quite often. You turn off the lights, Flash Wolves think that they might be going for an engage, and then you just burn Baron off of it. So that could actually happen if SKT just decide to scale up.
But they decide for now they're going to deal with that outer turret in the mid lane, taking it down. The final outer turret on Flash Wolves' side of the map opens up the gold lead as well. 7,000 gold in SKT's favor. And they're waiting inside a brush with a control ward as well. Flash Wolves don't have any vision besides on the pit itself.
That means they don't need to walk up, so that's enough vision for them to avoid the party brush that SKT was setting up. They don't have Rage Blade on Varus, so the Baron burn isn't insanely fast, but it is still very quick, like Clement mentioned. All these variables are things you think of as Flash Wolves. How long before we have to face check if we lose vision on the Baron? You can always estimate it by the enemy levels and items and just your understandings of those champions, and that will be something that's tested as clearly this become a Baron game before too long.
Flash was going to try and capitalize on the recalls from SKT to look towards an Infernal Dragon. They already have 2 dragons themselves. One is an Infernal, but an immediate teleport coming back into the mid lane by Bang. Picks up a Rage Blade, and it's Blank that starts a fight against Sword Art, burning the Flash and Ultimate away from Alistar.
That is 2 ultimates used on the SKT side. I wonder if LMS will try to contest after that. They don't have a lot of chances going forward.
So really good ability to turn off of an objective with just the Varus. So they're going to give this one up. It seems like Flash Wolves will just take some topside vision around the Baron.
Especially Rage Blade being picked up by Bang. Big power spike for Varus at the moment. Zhonya's as well as a fully stacked Rod of Ages available for Faker as well. Now Sword Art, no flash available. That was a crucial spell to try and start fights, potentially followed up on crowd control onto single out members from SKT. Not available. They do regain control over the Baron pit, pick up a small objective of the top lane outer turret, but they're still far behind and still have to find a pick against SKT to make their way back into this match and tie up this best of 5 series against the LCK squad.
We do see SKT again sweeping over to the Baron side. Actually, Mujin teleporting back to base, backing on top of a ward right there. So the small advantage that Flash Wolves got with that trading that Infernal Drake is completely lost at this point.
And the vision control there for SKT, waiting for their next move. They are feeling confident. They feel like the Mundo will go largely unanswered as this game goes on. And happy to play a longer game after controlling 20 minutes and losing at 23 against IG yesterday. Baron is the place they secure the game. They're against very little wave clear, but also could potentially throw the game. And that's why expect there to be just a litany of control wards anywhere near the Baron.
There is double smite on the side of the Flash Wall, so Baron steal is definitely a possibility if SKT commit too hard from taking the actual objective.
A level 17 smite for an extra 100 damage as well, so you have to be pretty tricky, as you know, Maple's positioning.
It's always a bit difficult for the blue side to really secure this Baron just because of the red side advantage close to it.
They do have the range to start fights, however. Blank tries to collapse on top of Aatrox. Will not get pulled back. No summoner spells burnt either. Just fishing for a pick does take away the World Ender ultimate from Maple,
I
however.
wonder if it was just looking for a flash, because it didn't look like there was any real chance of a gank being pulled off.
Dolph getting caught out here. Pops the ultimate nice and early. Sword Up follows through with crowd control, but there's a teleport coming out. So looking to try and collapse on the rest of these members. Sword Up does have ultimate available, but no flash. The rest of SKT able to get there in time. And WWE the one that slows down. Hook shot onto the wall to try and disengage. Sword Up still taken very low. SKT want to take this fight, and a big flash taunt coming out from Faker. Mujin forced to go over towards the wall pit, charging back towards the other side. Maple in trouble, can't get over the wall. SKT with 2 picks, even a flash from Betty, and they've got their eyes set towards Baron.
And you could see what Flash Wolves were trying to do there. They were trying to pick off Bang coming into the fight. They knew they couldn't take down Tal, but they were hedging their bets on that single pickoff. Bang, however, stood right next to the bottom side of the wall, inched his way forward, and made sure that there was no pick coming.
And meanwhile, Mundo just kind of looked at any damage, ran at the enemy, and there is no answer. Aatrox couldn't even use his Bloodwell. His ult was on cooldown, no value from it. This should be easy Baron, SKT.
We questioned how could they take down this Dr. Mundo in a team fight. Well, they tried to skirmish against him. That doesn't work out either. Mujin looking for a miracle steal. Throws out the ultimate. Wolf keeping him occupied. SKT have stopped damage on Baron for now. 2,500 hit points. Mujin still looking for a chance to steal. Chunked out to about half health, but Baron bursts down by SKT. Blank wants to fight. Jumps on top of the jungler. He's gonna fall first, and Sword Art's the next target. Crowd control after crowd control is Bounty Castle. Fun time. SKT get 2 more picks.
Beautiful anticipation from Blake, not letting Sword Art's combination take him off of his target, and without flash, Mujin really had no hope of taking any steal at that Baron.
And honestly, if SKT take down Flash Wolves, I don't know if the LMS have any hope of stopping Korea going all the way to the final tomorrow. What this means for SKT fans is hard to describe. They have been suffering for a long time in 2018, and for this roster with Tal in the top lane, a rookie playing this year, with Blank in the jungle, leveling up his performance again and again. We're watching the replay here, no healing reduction apart from an Ignite. Tal lives through it, and they're happy to just DPS through as no one can do anything to the Dr. Mundo.
I like what Flash Wolves tried to set up here, but look at their angle. Once they saw they could not find Bang, they tried to cut off the rest of SKT. Faker in that choke point with the potential 3-man, excuse me. Taunt really just finishes it off.
I gotta say, Galio tournament champion of the tournament. So far we've had Yukal, Rookie, and now Faker all having big moments on the Galio. An old pick for Faker, but a goodie. Again, this is such a big moment for SKT. Whatever Rift Rivals represents, whichever country or region comes out as champions, SKT will see this as a lifeline for their hopes of making playoffs in summer.
Moving back to the summer, they're going to look back at this match because the Flash was a team that took down RNG, took down Kingzone during the group stages of the tournament. And think back how they're able to take down the Flash Wolves. They still have to execute the game winner, however. That Sword Art's being caught out. Faker can try and lock him down. Tether is there. Taunt is there. Easy pick for SKT.
Surprised Sword Art even used his ult.
Yeah. He really did not need to use it right there, but I think it's a bit of the nerves getting onto Flash Wolves. We have seen Flash Wolves fall to SKT in this fashion before, putting all of their eggs into the early game basket, and when they aren't rewarded from the defense of SKT, it just falls apart.
Seeing SKT walk up with the Baron, they'd love to take a couple of inhibitors here. Still a while to Alistair's back.
They're split pushing. Faker is in the top lane. Blank is waiting in Fog of War to try and get an ultimate available for himself. Counter minions on every wave means they'll slowly chip at all of these turrets. Faker will make quick work of the top lane inner turret, move towards the top lane inhibitor. Dolls in the bottom lane, so pushing against Hanabi and Muji, even called down there, but Bang gets access to this turret, takes it down nice and easy. SKT break the base, now looking for inhibitors as well. Did stall for Sword Out, however. Back up and online, LMS have all 5 members there and only 50 seconds of Baron to work with.
Again, I have to say the Flash Wolves do have to strike first. They do need to find the pick, or this 1-3-1 will just finish off their entire base.
Oh, Blank's going to try and jump in, locks down Sword Out. No ultimate available for this Alistair, but they take down an inhibitor. Meanwhile, Dr. Mundo being jumped on, he doesn't care. He'll go where he pleases. Top lane's broken, bottom lane's broken, and skirmishes take place all across Flash Wolves' base. Faker trying to lock down Sword Out. Ultimate available for him, but it doesn't matter. The winds of war take him down. Guardian Angel being popped as well, but Hanabi, as his turret falls right beside him. Another kill being picked up by Thol, and this is an absolute shellacking again from the LCK roster.
What's old is new again, guys. Somehow, when you need a team in the clutch, it's SK Telecom in 2018. It goes so far from expectation, but they're styling on Flash Wolves.
And the spirit of the LMS is slowly being drained away because LCK's SKT, the 4th seed, send us to match points.
The crown has always been too heavy